Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and in this video I'm going to talk about RV resorts and RV parks and what the differences are between the two. Now, the word park and the word resort can overlap a bit because there is no specific definition of what an RV resort is. RV resorts offer the same facilities that an RV park does. But when you think about RV resorts, you think about a lot more than just a park. RV parks simply have the four main services that they provide, which is electrical and water hookups, and a way to dump your waste tanks. Some RV parks will have a waste tank dump right at your individual site. Some will not, but they will have somewhere in the park an RV dump station. And then the fourth thing is trash disposal, preferably in dumpsters. Some will have just big trash cans at each site or at maybe every other site. But it's always more convenient, actually, I think, to actually have a dumpster, because the trash cans get filled up and it's a little harder to get into them sometimes. So for a lot of RV parks, those four services is all they will provide, and that's all they need to be defined as an RV park. But now let's talk about what an RV resort is. The word resort kind of stirs up a notion of a much higher level of facilities and services provided. When you think of an RV resort, at least when I do, I think of one that has a swimming pool, a hot tub, a recreation hall facility with some little indoor sport things like pool tables and ping pong tables and maybe tennis courts, shuffleboard courts, that kind of thing. A lot more facilities of an RV park, because in an RV resort, generally you're there to experience the camping aspect of RVing. Whereas for an RV park, you may just need a place to stay for one night. But RV resorts, you usually want to stay for at least a whole weekend, if not a week, maybe longer if you're like on vacation. The problem, though, is that any RV park can call itself a resort, even if it provides no resort facilities at all. And that's kind of what I'm going to focus on in this video. Now, as you may know, RV resorts will cost a lot more per day or per week than an RV park, because they're providing, or should be providing, a lot more services than just your average RV park. So you want to expect to pay more. And what prompted me to do this video is the RV resort that I'm staying in right now. So first, let me show you what their website looks like. So this is where I'm staying right now. Mission Trails RV Resort in San Antonio, Texas. Now, one of the big attractions of this park is their location, which is right there. It's right off of Southeast Military Drive, and along this road there are hundreds and hundreds of businesses, heavy commercial main throughway through the south side of San Antonio. Plus, it's right alongside Interstate Highway 37. So it's very convenient to go to downtown San Antonio or other parts of the city. So that's the main thing that attracted me to this location. Plus, they're members of Passport America, which if you're a member of, you can get your RV space for 1/2 of the normal rate. And that is one of the main things they are promoting for people looking for a place to stay. However, when I got there, I found they told me that their daily rate is $70, and my Passport America deal with the half price, of course, is $35. And that seemed like a lot to me, especially if you're paying the full rate of $70. Now, a rate of $70 a day is not really way out of line for a luxury RV resort. But let me show you around Mission Trails RV Resort. This is the office where you check in, and they actually have an RV repair facility here, and I did need some RV repairs. It'd be nice to get that done while I'm here, but I was told they are temporarily closed. I don't know what temporary means. There's the dumpsters. There are 4 rows of RV spaces here along 2 streets. And this is a lot they have for RV storage. I wonder how long this RV has been stored here. So this is street number 1. And this actually is a mobile home, not an RV. Most of them are RVs here. And it's obvious that nearly all of the spaces here are used for long-term monthly rentals. And this place definitely does not have the 10-year rule, especially not for mobile homes. And this is Interstate 37, which is providing a lot of road noise for the park, especially the people on this front row here. For the Mission Trail RV Resort. Now, on their website it says Trails with an S, so they seem to be confused as to what their name is. Several people have satellite dishes set up like that. That's what I would call permanent. And this place, I don't know what to say about all this stuff. Wonder how many years they've been here. I think that RV passed the 10-year rule about 30 years ago. And now we come to where mine is parked, right there. And yes, they definitely need some help to keep this place clean, in Spanish as well. And this unit, I think, is amazing. There's 3 cars parked in front of it, and yesterday there was like 5 or 6 for a little while. There's a vacant space right next to me here nobody came into. I've been here for 2 days. And there is the hookup box, which is shared by 3 spaces. Me, the one behind me, and this empty one. It has 3 50-amp hookups. I'm right now getting my water tank filled up from the faucet here. Now, this seems to be the only dump station right in my vicinity, which is almost permanently connected to that RV right there. So for me and who might pull in here, I don't know what we're supposed to do about RV dumping, except maybe disconnect this guy. But then I certainly don't have a sewer hose long enough to reach to where my sewer connection is there. My water hose is fine, but getting a really long sewer hose that long, you'd have to get a couple extensions. All 3 of the streets in the park here are gravel, and not only that, but they are full of potholes. You got to dodge the potholes and the gravel here. And all of the RV spaces are on grass, a little bit of gravel maybe. And look at what I picked up walking just from the front of my motorhome to the rear. Look at those stickers in my socks. All right here. And it kind of looks like they just do not mow the weeds here. It's kind of hard to, I don't know if I would even call this grass. They must do mowing at some time, but they sure never get close to this guy's place. And look at this amazing, I don't know if it could be actually called a, well, it's a trailer of some sort. I don't know if it's a mobile home. It is on wheels, so it's a towable trailer, but it looks like one of the first ones they ever invented. And he does not keep it very shined up. I guess the important thing is to have tires underneath and a satellite dish. Cannot do without satellite TV. By the way, after 5 years, I finally got one of these silver windshield shades designed for this size motorhome. I do have an interior windshield shade, but 2 years ago it started going bad on me, and now it only goes down about 1 foot. It's only usable now as a sun visor. But I've been surprised, it really doesn't help much. It still gets super hot in that front driver's compartment. So I have a regular curtain behind it that does a pretty good job of keeping the heat way up front. I'm sure it must help, but I really can't tell any difference. Look at this mobile home. Looks like it has been abandoned long ago. Well, folks, the lesson learned here is when you see the phrase RV resort, don't assume it's any sort of a luxury resort without checking out the details. Or you may be stuck in what you might call a dump like this. Good day, folks.